Farming in the Burren has traditionally focused on animal rearing, with cattle, sheep and goats grazing on the rich herb grasses of the fertile rock. Our virtual Slow Food Festival will showcase the rich flavours of the local produce, brought to life by the people who have nurtured and enriched the Burren.
Here we are at Alloy Cave and Birds of Prey Centre, home to the famous Burren Gold cheese. I'm delighted to be meeting cheesemaker Diarmuid O'Callaghan and Sean Davern from nearby Caherconnell, whose family have been supplying milk to Alloy Cave for more than 35 years. This one is really interesting because Alloy Cave is a tourism business that diversified into food production, whereas the Daverns are a farming family that diversified into tourism and now welcome visitors to Caherconnell Fort on the family farm. Diarmuid, can you tell me a little bit about the history of cheese making here at Alloy Cave?
Yeah, like you said, it's here with 35 years. I suppose good years, bad years and everything else in between. I suppose the main thing is we've stood the test of time.
And Sean, your family have been on that journey with Alloy Cave. You've been supplying milk right from the beginning. Can you tell us how the relationship started?
Absolutely. So we're a long-time farming family here in the Burren. So my family actually lived near the Johnsons back at home in Caherconnell. So my dad knew Roger from the time he moved over here. So my grandfather was actually a beef farmer and my dad got into dairying as a way of providing a more stable income to support his young family. And I suppose because he was the nearest dairy farmer to Roger, he was a natural person to come to. At that time as well, the cheese that they made here was made from hot milk. So milk quality was important and my dad had a strong reputation in that area. He won an award subsequently from Golden Vale for that milk quality.
Do you remember those times yourself, Sean?
I do actually. I remember them vividly. I was just saying to Nuala earlier, I remember coming into the cheese shop with my dad in the 80s. He'd some business with Roger. I couldn't tell you to this day what it was. And he left the two of us loose in the cheese shop, which was a brave move in its own right. And I remember being here, so cheese in Ireland that time was a much more industrial and more processed product than it is now. And up on the counter there was a round of cheese. And it was rich and golden and crumbly and it had that colour of like an autumn sunset. And I'd never seen anything like it before. I didn't know what it was. And the lady gave me a little taste of it. Now, I was a lot younger then and my taste buds hadn't developed as they have now. So I made a face I'm not going to repeat here, Tina. But that moment, it opened up something for me. Like we're a farming family from the Burren. We live a kind of simple life then and we try to do that as much now, but it opened up this possibility all of a sudden, that taste and that newness, and it gave me an interest in food and in food production outside of the production we do ourselves that I've retained to this day. And I suppose it's one of the reasons why I'm so enthusiastic about sharing the things that we do now. I think there's an extraordinary thing where you spark that in somebody and the possibility that you could do that is just extraordinary to me.
It's amazing, the power of taste and the power of that memory. It's amazing. And that question of taste, Diarmuid, how important is it to Burren Gold cheese that you're using local milk from just down the road here in the Burren?
Sure, it's everything really. Logistically anyway, just to get the milk here every morning, you're not going to be bringing it from 20 or 30 miles away. And there isn't that many dairy farmers around. And also to ensure quality is everything. Like, the bigger co-ops would spill more milk than I would turn into cheese in the year, so we're not going to be able to compete with anyone on price. So you have to be willing to pay more for the cheese because it's higher quality cheese, and you're not going to do that if you don't start off right. You're not going to finish off right, like.
Yeah, absolutely, makes complete sense. What the two of you are describing there, Sean, sounds like just a relationship that has made sense on many levels. Financially, agriculturally, logistically, as Diarmuid said there. It's very in line with the slow food ethos as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and I think for us that idea as a family of slow food and sustainable food is very important. We're a fifth generation farming family here, Tina, and I think when you've been farming in one place for that long, you start to view yourselves more as kind of custodians of the landscape. You don't really feel like you own anything. And I think that sense of custodianship, it makes it important for us to work with people who share that value that we have in the landscape and that level of intergenerational commitment to it. And I think that's what we see at Alloy. We see an intergenerational commitment to this business, to this landscape, and to our relationship and working together. think it's an invaluable thing, and it's a very rare thing nowadays as well.
Yeah, both Alloy Cave and Caherconnell are multi-generational businesses, and the shared values are really important. Is it true, Dermot, I've heard that you do actually milk the cows at Caherconnell and then come back here to Alloy Cave to make the cheese?
Yeah, I'm at that while. I'm in my second generation there now as well. I started with John Davern and Sean's father, and I'm there now with Sean and his brother Paul and Colm, whoever else will be around.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate farm to fork experience all wrapped up in yourself. Sean, coming back to you, what difference does it make to the milk and therefore the cheese that you're farming in the Burren? What difference does the landscape here make?
So I think the landscape is crucial to the whole kind of Burren experience. For us, we're a traditional upland farming family. So my family actually farm on top of the mountain here at Alloy as part of our land, and we've done that through 5 generations. And I suppose as mixed grassland and upland farmers, we think that our livestock benefit both from the richness of the Burren soils in the summertime and also from that thing of being a natural and sustainable outwintering. So outwintering on the Burren is a very long-standing tradition. Farming here is different to other places. Animals are wintered outside, so they go up the hills in the wintertime and then they come down into the valleys in the summertime. And that, I suppose, acts to maintain a stable and sound environment here in the Burren, and it's a practice that's been going on for as long as my family have been farming, and very much in the same way. So I think it's one of those really sustainable practices that you don't see too many of nowadays. It's also the case that you have, because of that, you have land in the Burren that's left unattended for 6 months of the year. So it's one of the few places anywhere where you see land allowed to naturally regenerate in the prime growing season.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's very unique tradition and an ancient farming tradition, and gives that really distinctive sense of place from the Burren. So Dermot, you have a range of interesting and different flavours in Burren Gold cheese. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, we've 6 different flavours. I suppose plain is the basic where it all starts off, and then you add in your cumin, smoked, black pepper, peri-peri, and garlic and nettle would be our most sold cheese here. It would be our most popular cheese by a long way.
Have you a favourite, Sean?
Do you know what? I've always had an awful feeling for 2 of them. So I have a huge feeling for the garlic and nettle. I'm one of Dermot's regular customers, and I love a smoked cheese, and I think this one is spectacularly good.
Dermot, Sean paints a lovely picture there of that really rich harvest sun gold colour of Burren Gold cheese. Where does that come from?
Comes from the grass. Tina is the main thing. We only make cheese from the beginning of April till the end of October. We're fairly religious with that. Only while the cows are on grass. Best quality grass makes best quality milk, makes best quality cheese. You see all those dairy ads, happy cows, healthy cows, all that. That's all grass is the backbone of all that. That cheese will be much brighter in colour, but for that, and those holes will be much bigger as well. You get more trapped away, and it will be like that high as well. It'll be gassy if you didn't have the grass and if you didn't have it right.
It's one of the things we're lucky about in the Burren, I think, is the quality of the grassland that we have and the length of the day that we have. So we get this really vibrant grass growth, and we get these lovely long summer evenings. The cows can sit outside, they're content, they're happy. It's a pleasure to go out and see them, and like Dermot always says, quality in and quality out.
It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you both. Thank you very much, Dermot, and thank you, Sean, for joining me today. And thank you for being with us at the 2021 Burren Slow Food Festival. I hope you can join us for the next conversation. For now, I'm going to hand you over to local musicians Rachel and Alan Reid, who are going to play us out from Alloy Cave and Birds of Prey Centre.